I got a Christmas gift from Gil's Fish Room. It is a personalised mug and I love it. Thank you, Gil. Now, to end off the year of 2023, I'm going to do another best and worst aquarium plants video. It's been a while. Now, there's a lot of plants in this tank that have been in best aquarium plant videos or fastest growing aquarium plant videos, such as this Indian lace fern here. This is a really decorative, beautiful plant that just grows incredibly quickly in all kinds of conditions and would be the fastest large growing plant that I've ever seen. But of course, the other fast growing plant that really does take over a tank is duckweed, which is also one of the best and the worst aquarium plants, which I've done a video on already. Now, the best aquarium plant I've ever seen, look at this Java fern Windelov. It is just taken over my tank, but I love it. And the Indian lace fern also takes over my tank just as quickly. And while we're here, let's appreciate this little snail who's one of a few who have made this tank their home, even though it's full of very large clown loaches. But today's video is about none of those plants. Today's video is something which is beneath and behind all these plants that have covered over the top of this tank. To show you what's underneath all this, I've got to remove this duckweed. So I'm going to get a comb and take this duckweed off the surface. And look at another snail. And once I've got the duckweed away, I can see a bit more clearly what we have to work with. And as you can see, lots and lots of plants. Now there's two baskets I have made that I've got suspended, and they are submersed. And they have got the plants of today's video right inside. So let's see if we can get this basket out and show you. The very first thing you'll notice is lots more Java fern. And the Java fern Windelov is just a fantastic plant which I can't speak highly enough of. And as you can see, it is brimming over the top of this plant basket. But what it is covering is underneath. So let's get these out and see if we can get down to the plants I want to talk about. Now, shout outs to Gil's Fish Room, Aaron Lewis and Green Machine Sweden, because they have had a bit of a guess at what these plants might be. But as I get these plants out of the way, you can start to see underneath we have some other plants. Now, the plants we're talking about are quite expensive to buy, and they're also often quite difficult to find. So I had to buy these online because they weren't available in my local stores near me. Now, these are small plants, they're expensive plants, and they're incredibly slow growing. And that is the reason why these are, for me, some of the worst plants I've ever bought, because in about a year and a half, they have hardly grown. Now, of course, remember there's a lot of competition for plants in this tank for the nutrients. So the faster growing plants take the nutrients, they grow more quickly, and they rob the slower growing plants of the food that they need to grow. So yes, slower growing plants will grow even more slowly when they're up against very fast growing plants to compete against. But having said that, the other plants in this tank have grown like weeds, and I can hardly stop them from taking over the tank. Meanwhile, these very expensive plants, Bucephalandra, Anubias nana-petite, have been terrible. They've hardly grown at all in a year and a half. And at the other end of the scale are these plants that are just growing far more than my tank can hold. So I saw a video from Andrew at Aquaticy where he had a solution of getting a plastic tub where he would put his excess plants, which is a pretty sad way of saying he's got multiple tank syndrome without getting another fish tank. So I'm not sure how that tub's going to work out, apart from becoming a new plant tank very quickly. So I've been selling these plants as quickly as I can, but it's still obviously not fast enough. But there's no way I can ever sell Anubias nana-petite or Bucephalandra, because after 2 years I've just got what I started with, barely. So do I like these plants? Yes, I think they're fantastic plants, and they haven't died. So I've still got them. So they do live a long time. They look terrific, but they're awfully slow growing, awfully expensive. And I appreciate them, but I'm not going to buy any more of these plants. So that is the subject of today's video: best worst aquarium plants. Very slow growing, expensive, Anubias nana petite and bucephalandra. What do you think about these plants? Tell us in the comments. Do you have these plants, and what are your thoughts about them? And while we're here, let's make a list of some other plants that we also think are in that best and worst category. So we might make a few more videos on some suggestions. So the aquarium's going well. I'm happy with it, but it's full of plants. I've got plants for sale in the links down below. So if you're in Australia and you'd like some Java fern, then by all means have a look at that and see if you can fit some of those plants in your tank. Because my fish, they certainly need the room. Let's say goodbye to 2023. Let's all hope that 2024 is a lot better, because the last few years have been just ridiculous. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on another aquarium video coming up.